Hey folks, AJ the CEO here. We are out here at Mount Tabor Baptist Church here in Schumansville, Virginia. Never heard of it, but I'm actually past King's Dominion, way past King's Dominion, but I'm here early, but thankfully there's a car here. So let's see if we can get in early and see what we can do to help them out. Alrighty folks, so we've been walking around. Let me do a talk through, mainly for me, so I can remember how to do this. And we're gonna do the full shebang, even though this is gonna be, they're gonna go from a phase approach, but this is what I'm just gonna document for me to write it all up, and then we'll approach how we'll split it into phases. So first, what we're gonna do is do a new joystick and new cameras. We're gonna relocate the one from the corner, put it right in the center. We're gonna have like an angled mount so that it dips below the stained glass so it avoids the chandeliers. I also put another one in the front in some location. All of the TVs are already wired. We need to figure out, I think all of these are terminating right here into a splitter. We're gonna put a different 4K HDMI splitter here. We're gonna go with an A10 Mini Extreme, connect all of that stuff here, put a PoE switch, all of the wireless mics and everything, and the amps that are up there, we're gonna put in a rack mount down here, and probably put a longer shop outlet down here. Now, this location is temporary. This is just out of necessity when COVID happened. That's why they were here, but we're gonna move that. This is the same bigger board that actually I'm gonna be doing at Rise and Mount Zion. So we already know the cables off of it, so we can pull audio into the ATEM. We're gonna do an SanDisk, 1 TB, 27-inch, and we're gonna do a custom PC for them as well too. So it's a dedicated one in for the ministry and not one that's shared. Hopefully we can avoid having to go in the ceiling, but again, we'll go up, run cables up from here, and then drop them back down. There's already a path right there. Relocate that. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is they have distribution downstairs where they want to have video go. The cable is already there. We're going to test to make sure that is working fine. And we're most likely, they have an old speaker here that we're not going to really replace that speaker. We're just going to take that down. And since this is the TV, probably just going to have a sound bar down here, and we'll put a jack on the wall so that they can plug in and use this space as well. So not that much CSAA ministry. We just got to figure out how that cable is ran. It's in this wall somewhere. And then the other thing is their fellowship hall has been the main thing that they want to adjust. We're also going to think about adding an access point in these areas because we're here in an area where their internet is not, they don't have the greatest of options for providers out here, but we're going to build the infrastructure for their network so that when faster options, maybe Starlink as an option, because what they're paying for, they can do Starlink. That would at least give them something better than what they got right now. But we'll probably put one unified professional access point that will cover this area. The ceiling speakers, they said it's either the amp is not powerful enough that's all the way in the sanctuary, or the speakers are blown. We're going to replace, they have 7 ceiling speakers in here. We'll probably shrink it down to 5, one in each corner, one in the center, and then one in the kitchen area. And most likely relocate the amp that's going to this here, because what we could do is we're going to run cable over the video. We can extract the audio from the HDMI and send it into this receiver. And that's actually probably where how the sound is getting here and not that way, but we'll leverage some of this stuff as well too. They already have some cables going to the TV. I think because of how they said how this building was when they built it, somebody ran the cable outside. So I'm probably, if need be, we'll run a coax on the outside, convert it over to a SDI cable, run that in here, and that will bring the video and audio in here. And if this is what's distributing the sound to the speakers, we'll do it that way, which is really strange. I don't want to pull that out there, but anyway, we got some options to go. And that's the main thing. Now, when we go back into the sanctuary, I'm giving them some ideas on how we're going to do some other stuff to get them and move them forward. So, talking about having a TV in the back for a confidence monitor, they're interested in that. So, most likely we'll run cables to have that in place, even though that's not going to be there originally right now. And then maybe even do an access point in here for Wi-Fi in here. But we want to wire everything to get them set up in the future for everything. So maybe something here in the back with the potential of maybe a third camera on the side. But we are going to go with a camera in the front and the back. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get in front of the computer. Let's design everything. And if I get the contract, we're going to bring you along so y'all can see how this stuff we can do to help modernize your media ministry too. So let's go to the computer. All right, I know I said I was done, but what we're also going to do is, just like we're doing at Rise Mount Zion, we're going to replace the ceiling mics, and we're going to put a wedge for the pastor, a wedge for the choir, maybe a wedge for the musicians. They need to have in-ear monitors, so that way they're not blasting like crazy. And then make sure we do a direct box so that the piano can be plugged into the sound system. Now, let's go back to the computer. Alrighty, folks, we are back home. Let's get over here and design this because I have a lot of stuff to do today, which kind of happened on the road here. But let's go ahead and get over here and let's design this. So this is going to be from Mount Tabor. Again, they're going to go with a phased approach, but you know how I do. We're going to go through everything in their design. So let's go ahead and start with the stuff we do know. So we have, and maybe I'll do these, I was going to say I was going to do these smaller, but we have a TV in the fellowship hall. We're also going to do the two in the sanctuary. Sanctuary left, sanctuary right. And with the potential of another one, sanctuary back as an overflow. Confidence monitor. I don't know if I said overflow. So we're going to do a lot of stuff here. So we're going to build them a new computer because they're using one that's kind of a loaner. So, all right, I don't know where I left off because I ended up getting a phone call and I had to jump off. But we're going to build them a custom system because they're using a loaner system bouncing between the pastor and someone else. So we're going to build them a custom presentation system. So we'll put that in place. We're going to go with an ATEM Mini Extreme. You know I was going to go with that. They have a bigger mixer, like I said, that I'm using for Rise and Mount Zion. So I already know the type of cables we're going to use with that, so we don't have to really touch that. And it's like a lot of the stuff is feeding into itself, what I'm working on. So first we're going to run the audio to here. And we're going to replace their camera. And we're going to put two PTZs in, one for the front and one for the back. And I should put all of this in line. This will make it easier for me to do here. So that's going to be front, back, then presentation, PC. Connect that all over here. Get this last one here. And again, they have growth for more if they want to, which is always a good thing. We're going to get a PoE switch. And again, they're having issues because of the limited internet there. So we're talking about letting them just record service and then upload it. But we build the infrastructure so that they can actually, when faster internet is available, they can do it. I'm proposing, because of the amount that they're already paying, maybe move them to Starlink, since I moved my mom to that. I've been meaning to do a video about there, but every time when I go back to my mom's house, she's had Starlink for over a year. She's happy with it because it doesn't go down like it was with Comcast there in the area. So she's happy with that. You know, a little pricier for what my mom typically would pay, but based off of what this church is paying, they're already paying in the range of what Starlink would be for them. And as more satellites go up, that would give them a better performance in the future too. So I think that will work out for them. So we'll offer that as an option. But what I'll probably do is probably do a Dream Machine in here as well too, to handle all of this and get rid of the router that they have. Because we're going to add some access points to give better internet throughout the church. So, and I like using that since it's one centralized location. So this will be the fellowship hall access point. We'll probably do a second one for right now. And they came out, this might give me an option to start with Unify's new stuff. They just released this. Where is it at? Yeah, this is the Unify Express. So this is a smaller, it's sold out. It actually is kind of like the Dream Machine, but just a little bit smaller. Still need to have a switch going to it to give more connections. So it only has 2 out. So mainly it's going to be your your modem coming in and a line out. So that's not going to be a problem since we're already doing a PoE switch. We might have to add something else. So I'll keep an eye out on that. It is sold out, but we'll look at doing something like that. But worst case, I'll go with the Dream Machine because it already has a PoE switch built in. So we'll connect that to here and then have another one going into the fellowship hall. Oh, I had the same thing, called the same thing, Sanctuary AP. And that will give the signal here. Then we're going to add our joystick so they control everything. Now, the other thing is we're going to put a rack and get all of the stuff off that table, their mics and everything in a rack, their amp in a rack up under the table, that ultimately it'll be moved into a different location, but we'll centralize and clean up all that space for them. And we'll put our PoE switch in there so that when you flip the master on, it turns everything on. So that'll be good. And let me just take one of these. This will be for our multi-view. Now, there's already an HDMI splitter, but I'm probably going to change that out. They have 2 smaller ones, and we're going to switch this out to a 1x8 HDMI splitter. So the out from the ATEM will go here, and then that's what feeds all these other TVs. And we might have to change the wiring to some of these, maybe the one that's going to the fellowship hall because that's running outside. But that shouldn't be that much of a problem. Now, I will, just like we did at, why is the church escaping me, which is a good problem to have, to forget the church. But I'm going to run it this way, but then we'll probably run a connection from the presentation computer so that HDMI number 2 will give them a stage display if they're ready, whenever they want to move with that. So we got all of that in place. Now, in the scenario over here, in the fellowship hall, they have speakers already in the ceiling. So we're going to need to change out the speakers in the ceiling. we'll just put these over here. So we're going to do a total of 5 of these. No, 6, excuse me. 5 inside the fellowship hall and then 1 inside the kitchen. And it looks like what we can probably do is have a receiver under the TV in the fellowship hall, and we will split the signal from the TV. The has a optical out that's going to go into the receiver, and then the receiver, which is the amplifier, that is just going to give the signal to these. And I'm not going to draw the connection between all of these. I probably will. I don't know why I'm fooling myself. We'll put this together and we'll do a receiver / amp that will give the power to all of this and send the signal to all of these. Because they said they have something right now, but the speakers just sound really bad. I don't know. They think that somebody may have blown the speakers, so that's why we're just going to replace them in general, which is similar to another install we're going to be starting soon for that. So this will be a fiber optic connection so that the video and audio will be in sync. We're not going to get the audio directly from the board. We're going to get it from the signal. Most likely, I will convert the cable outside to an SDI cable so it can weather out there. It all depends what's in the ceiling. Might be different. Might not need to do that at all. And we just run a fiber optic cable out here into a new receiver that will power the speakers in the ceiling. That would be the easier thing to do. And I've not used a fiber cable, so I'll just use that in yellow right there. And I think that is, they also want me to change out their ceiling microphones, the choir mics. They had some, but they're not working, and they're having some issues with the sound, and I helped them with that. That was mainly because of the gain was too high on some of the mics. So what we're going to do is simplify this, put some hanging mics for them, new mics for them, and then they're going to reduce how many corded microphones that they have. And the corded microphones will just be for like soloists and stuff like that. So that's the other things that we're going to add here. And I think that is about it. This one, let me change the color to this as, I don't know. Let's give it a different color. Let's change it to this because this is optional. This is something that is a phased, I shouldn't have done that because this is a phased approach. I'm just doing everything and then they're going to pick what should and should not be done at the level of where they're comfortable with. Now, one last thing I did forget, that is I need a SSD so that way that they can record everything that way. And then also the second USB out is going to connect to this computer, and that's going to be for the ATEM control software. So I think that's it. So let me write this all up for them. I told them it ain't going to take me that long to get this back to them, and we will go from there. They're excited about that. I love sitting down, getting a chance to talk with ministries and give them a different shift in mindset about this, not just for just getting better cameras and stuff like that, but the purpose behind it. Seems like it really resonated with the pastor because it was something that he wanted to do, and I was able to put it in words what he was trying to do, and a lot of people are excited about it. So that's what I love doing with this. So, if we get the contract, I will bring you along with me. Link is down below to everything that we're going to be using and I'm proposing in here. That stuff may change, but this is what, if I was going to do everything and we went from everything from ground zero, this is what I would do. So if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos. And I didn't mention it, but if you ever want me to come out, we can do Zoom, we can do a phone call, or I can come out on site. We do travel to put something similar for your ministry. You can go to ajhomes.com/consultations, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. So this is AJ, folks. We'll catch you on the next video. Later.